Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, but here I am again with new tutorial for you guys, and today I would like to show you my basic skin retouching workflow. So if you like to see how I achieved this look, how I edited the picture, please keep on watching. So this is the picture that I'm going to work with, and as you can see, there is a lot of contrast in her face, because we shot this during the day and there was a lot of sunlight, which can create really harsh shadows but also beautiful highlights. I really like the skin of the model, the texture and overall look, so that's why I chose this picture. And in my workflow I like to start with liquify, but I don't think that there's anything to begin with, so I'm going to skip that and I'm going straight into skin retouching. I'm going to duplicate layer and I'm going to zoom in so we can see all the details. There are a few pimples here, but nothing extreme. Also beauty marks, and with beauty marks, I mean, sometimes I like to leave them, but sometimes I don't. It really depends on the model and overall look, and also position of the beauty mark. I should also mention that usually I'm working with tablet, but for the sake of this video I'm going to work with mouse. But I really enjoy the tablet because it's so much easier, so much quicker. Yeah. So for the pimples, I really like to use spot healing brush tool. I used to work with patch tool or clone stamp tool, but lately I just love this, and with the tablet it's so much quicker and so much easier. So all you need to do is to find a pimple you want to remove, change the size of the brush and just click, and it does all the work for you. I think some people don't like to use this tool for the retouching, but I mean, it's not really a close-up portrait, not a beauty portrait where you really have to be careful what you use so you're not destroying the skin. But I think for these kind of pictures, it's really great. It's really easy and quick. I also like to use this tool for retouching hairs like this, because it's really easy and it does all the work for you. Okay, so I'm going to speed this process a little bit so you don't have to watch it so slowly. Okay, so I think that I removed all the pimples and beauty marks that I don't want in the picture, and we still have this these two hairs in the face, but sometimes when you do this, it just leaves like a visible line, and I don't like that, so I'm not going to use spot healing brush tool for this. And also these like bigger areas, I don't like to use this tool for this as well. So I'm going to duplicate the layer again, and I'm going to use clone stamp tool. So this is really a great tool, and I use it a lot. It's great for copying or cloning the texture you want to another place. So for example, I clone this area right here and I copy it to here. But you want to be really careful with this tool, because you can't do something like this, like clone this dark area and paste it here, like in this light area. It's not going to match, so it's not going to look real. That's why you want to clone only from the area that's really similar, and a lot of times it's really the one next to the pimple or the hair you want to remove. And what I really like to do with this tool is to change the blend mode. So now it's on normal, so everything I do is visible, but I really like to use darken or lighten, and in this example I'm going to use lighten because I want to lighten up the area that it's dark, the hair. So it's going to do is that it's only affecting the area that it's darker than the one that you are copying. So I'm gonna copy this area right here and clone it here, and it's not very very visible, but it only erased or copied the area here in the hair. So I'm still copying just the area next to the hair, and it's only affecting the pixels that are darker to the texture that I'm copying. This way you are like protecting the pixels that are good and that you don't want to get rid of. Let's try it like I'm going to copy this dark color or dark texture, and I'm not going to be able to clone it because we are on lighten mode, and it's going only to lighten. So if I would like to affect something with this color right here, I would have to find a dark color that it's going to replace. This way you can do hairs, pimples, or so wrinkles are a really good example, because you only want to affect the line, the wrinkle itself, and not the other pixels. So you can see that the area around it's preserved and only the wrinkle is gone. Okay, I'm gonna finish these hairs and I'm going to come back. I'm going to use this technique to get rid of this area right here, because I mean it's some dry patch, and I don't want to get rid of it like the whole area. I just want to soften it a little bit. So yeah, I'm still on the lighten, and I'm going to click and copy the texture that I want. zoom out. Okay, it's already looking better. All right, and same here. Now there is a like a lighter shade area, so I'm going to darken, and I'm going to copy dark color so it blends better. All right, maybe this right here. All right, so this is what we've done so far. So we did get rid of all of the pimples and a lot of hairs, and this is our last step with the clone stem tool. All right, maybe a bit more here. All right, looking good. So before and after. Now I'm going to merge these layers, so I'm not lost in all the layers that I will have. I mean, today it's not going to be that complicated, but sometimes you really want to be careful with your steps and be able to go back. So sometimes I do have a lot of copies, and then I get lost in it, what's what, and I like to merge it when I'm done with what I'm doing. Let's make 2 copies of the layer, and let's group it. And I like to call this FS as frequency separation. You can also name the layers. I like to call them texture and blur, so I don't get lost. I usually use only T and B, the first letters, because I'm too lazy to type. But it's really great to name your layers, because then you won't get lost and you know exactly what you're working on. All right, and frequency separation, it's a really powerful tool for skin retouching. I really like to use it. And what this basically does is it's separating the high frequency pixel information from low frequency pixel information. In other words, you are separating the texture from the color, so you can work on them individually and they're not destroying each other or interfering with each other. It's really a great and powerful tool, and I think everyone should master it. And as with all the things in Photoshop, I think there is more ways how you can use one tool. And I don't like when someone say this is the best one. I think everybody should know what they like to use and what they prefer. I mean, everybody's works is different, so we use different tools. So that's why I'm going to show you not the best one, but the one that I use, and the one I think is the quickest. Okay, so and the setting up, it's basically the same all the time, I think. Yeah, so let's select the blur and hide texture and go to filter, blur, and Gaussian blur. With these layers, you want to set it up so you are not like, this is not good. You want to see your subject, but I think, for example, this is too low. I like to set it up so I can't see the hairs anymore, like the lashes or the brows. I can't see the hairs individually. Okay, so I think this is too much. Okay, I think in this case 3.5 is great, but remember it's different for every picture. Click OK. And now let's go to texture, unhide it, and go to image, apply image. Select blending mode to subtract. Scale is 2 and offset is 128. And select layer and select your blur layer. Okay, so you can see that it already does something. You can see now the texture of the picture, which that's what we want. But you don't want to work on it like this. That's why you select blending mode and go to linear light. Okay. Now you can work on texture and color separately. Let's see some examples. For example, let's use patch tool for this. And I'm going to select this area right here, where I think there's not a lot of texture, so I want some, and I'm going to copy this area right here. And as you can see, the color stayed this is a lot brighter than this, and the color is still the same, but we copied this texture from here. Okay, and let's see what it does when we work on blur. And let's say this is too bright and I want to tone it down, so I'm going to select this area and take the color from here. Okay, so you see the texture didn't move, only the color. All right, so this is the difference between these two layers. And sometimes, really sometimes, I work on a texture layer when I see some pimple or something, but not that much, because you really can destroy your skin texture. That's why I usually work on, most of the time, on a blur layer. And still you can do a lot of things on this layer without even touching the texture. Okay, and now I'm going to show you the fastest way to retouch skin. I don't like to use this technique for portraits like this, but when you have like a far away portrait, or you have a bad light situation going on that you can't see a lot of detail in the skin, you can use this way, and it's going to be quick, and it's going to make it better, and that's what you want. So and you don't have to work on it like 10 hours or what. And also if there's not much detail in the skin, you don't have to work on that so much. So this quicker way is really like better for the faraway portraits or bad light situations where you can't see the details anymore. Okay, so let's select our blur layer and go to lasso tool. Select your feather. The bigger, the softer edges you get. Yeah, let's select the area that you want to retouch, that you want to blend, and go to filter, blur, and Gaussian blur. You really don't want to overdo it. I mean, clearly you can see that this is not the right way to do it, because the skin doesn't look like skin anymore and the color is really off. But let's say 40 44th. Okay, you can think that this looks okay, but it really is not okay, because it's really flat. There's not dimension, not definition in the skin, and you don't want to lose that. So for this picture, I think about 9.6 is okay. Yeah. So you want to lose the dark spots, and you want to like even the skin a little bit, but still have the definition, the contrast, and the shadows. Okay. And now that you have your blur set, you only need to like select all the other areas that you want to retouch. Go to filter. You don't have to go to blur again and Gaussian blur. You can click here, or you can use this. And just like this, you can retouch whole face. And you can see it's really quick. You want to be careful around edges, like you don't want to select the edge of a lip, for example, because it's gonna blend that color from the lip, and that's not what you want. So be careful and select only the area that you're certain that you want to retouch. Okay, so I think within few minutes we've retouched the whole face. So this is the before and this is the after. Of course, in the end I would lower the opacity to around, in this case, 76. Yeah, 76 is okay, but I mean, for this portrait it's too much. You can clearly see it, so I don't want to use this technique. But as I said, for the pictures that are farther away, or there is not a lot of detail in the skin, you can definitely use it, and it's really quick and it's really great. But for this particular image, I didn't use this method. So I'm going to delete this and create new frequency separation group. With all the settings as I did before. Now this method is not that quick, but it's more precise, I would say, and I think it works really great with a lot of different types of pictures. So yeah, this is my favorite technique and I use it all the time. And I'm selecting healing brush tool. I'm on my blur layer. Let's zoom in and let's make the hardness of the brush. Yeah, you can do it on 100%, but I like to go for like 90, 95, around that. And what I'm gonna do is just use the healing brush tool as I would normally do, like clone the area that I like to the area that I don't. And just like this, step by step, as I said, it's not that quick as the previous method, but I think it's really effective and it's really precise. And also what I like to do that I forgot, is to copy or make the copy of blur so I can clearly see what I did, because sometimes, you know, it's just small change and sometimes you don't see it, but when you turn this on and off, you can clearly see what you did. So yeah, just copying and pasting. Okay, and I'm going to speed this process a little bit so you don't have to watch me for like 10 minutes or so. Okay, I could go on. Of course I could, and I could perfect it, but I think it's pretty okay right now. So yeah, before and after, before and after. And yeah, what I like the most about this is that you really have more control over what you're doing. With the previous method, you just selected the area that that you wanted to retouch, but you had like no control over how it's gonna look. And you know, skin retouching is all about blending and blurring lines and shadows with highlights and colors, so everything is even and smooth. And with this technique, I feel that I have the most control over what am I doing, or which area I'm going to affect, or what am I going to leave, because you know, sometimes there is area of skin that looks great and you don't want to do anything about it. So yeah, that's the best part of this method, and I really use it a lot, really like it. But this is not the end. I also after I do my frequency separation, I use dodging and burning. This is another powerful tool, powerful technique. Not only for skin retouching, you can do a lot of different things with this method. And you know, some people prefer frequency separation, and some people use just dodge and burn. I like to combine them because yeah, you can do a lot of different things, not only skin, with this. And there is a lot of different methods how you can use dodge and burn, or which tools you can use for creating your dodge and burn layers. But I'm going to show you these ways in different video, and now I'm going to show you only my favorite one, and that is using curves. So let's make curve layer. Let's name it dodge. And let's just lighten the image a little bit. Okay. Now invert the mask so it's invisible, and let's create our burn layer. So name it burn, and with this one, darken the image. Okay. Again, invert, and let's group them. Let's call it T and B. You can create an action, so you don't have to do this every time. And I like to start with the dodge one. So we have black mask. That means we are going to paint over with white, because what white is visible and what's black is invisible. And with dodge and burn, I like to just lighten up the dark, like dark circles, or if there are any harsh shadows that I don't like, I like to lighten the eyes and make highlights pop. So first thing, the dark circles. Let's make our flow. Let's do 10. Okay, let's make it bigger. Soft brush. Or smaller is better. And let's just paint over the dark areas. Okay, so just few clicks and dark circles are gone. You can also even out the skin with dodging and burning, yeah, by lightening the areas that you want to lighten. So everything you missed in the frequency separation, you can do here with just a few clicks. And if you don't like something that you did, just change the color of your brush to black and paint over the area. You can make the highlights pop by painting over them. So yeah, with the dodge and burn, like with the dodge layer, you can make existing highlights pop and also create non-existing highlights. And the same is with the burn tool or burn layer and your shadows. Also, you can paint over eyes to make them pop a little bit. All right, let's see what we've done. So just a few clicks and it already really looked different. And as I said, you don't only have to work on the skin, you can also work on the hair. For example, you can paint over the highlights that are in hair to make them pop. So before and after. And now let's work on our burn layer. With burn layer, you are not going to, or you can of course, but you're not going to affect highlights, but you are going to work on shadows. And if you want, you can create non-existing, like you can create your own shadows that you want, or you can make areas darker that are already dark. So for example, brows, we can make brows darker, and also lashes. Yeah, you can paint the outer edge of the eye. And what I like to do is just to simulate what I would do with makeup. You want to snatch the cheekbone. You have to create a shadow. Now let's paint over the hair. So now I'm going to only paint over the areas that are not like highlighted. Okay, so this is our burn tool, burn layer, before and after. So just really small changes. But if you turn on and off your dodge and burn group, it really made a difference. Now let's group all the layers, and let's see before and after. Let's zoom in. Before and after. Yeah, of course, if I would continue with this retouching, I would also retouch the body and maybe work more on the eyes, but I only wanted to show you my basic skin workflow, and this is what I would normally do with the face and hair, let's say. So if you want to see more videos like this, please leave a like, leave a comment. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And yeah, I'm going to make more in-detailed videos for dodge and burn, and maybe again frequency separation. So if you'd like to see that, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you stay this long till the end of the video, please let me thank you. So I hope that I will see you in my next video.